All right, and this wraps up the last few workouts of the week. This will be workout, I think, 3, and then later in the video, you'll see workout 4 and 5. So this session was about speed, technique, and work capacity, or just general conditioning. And you'll see a lot of every minute on the minute work, which means you have 1 minute to complete the set, and then your remaining time of that minute is rest. I really like doing every minute on the minute with relatively light clean and jerks and snatches, and sometimes some deadlifts as well, especially like technique or speed related deadlifts, because 1 minute allows you to get the movement done pretty quickly, and then you have about 40 seconds of rest or so, and it allows you to keep a good pace where light intensity, low percentage weight creeps up in terms of difficulty, which gives you good feedback when it comes to these movements. So they kind of make light weights feel harder, and then it's great for focusing on technique, conditioning, and limiting the weight on the bar, which also allows for just helping with recovery. So this isn't a main day. This is more of a way to get more technique work and speed, and keep creeping this up over the training block. I did 6 minutes of snatches, 5 minutes of clean and jerks, and 9 minutes of the banded deadlifts, and it felt really smooth. Then just finished up with some very light squats and some accessories. And I have a few squat days in my routine right now, with some of them purposely being really light, just to get the practice, the position, grease that groove, and make sure that everything is recovering well. My next session, I had several things planned, but ultimately all I did was the banded deadlifts from that day. And sometimes that's what it's about, right? Just getting in the main work. If you have an opportunity to get in the accessories later that day or the next day, then go ahead and go for it. But sometimes when we have limited time, we choose not to do anything, and that's where progress stalls. So again, today all I did was the banded bench, and it went pretty smooth. I did 8 sets every 90 seconds on the 90 seconds, which is kind of like every minute on the minute, except with a 90-second timer. So that 90 seconds runs, and you get the reps of the set that you're getting in, and the remaining time you have left over, that is your rest. So 8 sets here between 1 and 3 reps. The first several sets were triples, then we moved on to doubles, and then a single, and then the rest were doubles again. And I got up to 315 pounds on the bar, with 40 to 45 pounds of band tension each side. So that puts it about 80 to 90 pounds of total band tension. And that's pretty solid. That's putting this a little bit over 400 pounds pretty early in the training block. So really happy with that. And then today I made it in for makeup and accessories. So really happy with the week overall. Started off with some Nordic leg curls, which starting really conservative with these right now. I'm really focusing on just getting my hamstrings stronger over these next several months. So I'm going to be working this closer and closer to 0 degrees. So really excited with that. These felt super smooth. And after I did a little warm up at home, did some hamstrings, then I headed to the gym to finish the rest of my accessory day. And it was a pretty long session. There was just a little handful of movements that were missed earlier this week, so this was a great opportunity to make all of that up, and energy felt really good. So once I got to the gym, I started with a clean complex, which was a clean front squat and jerk complex. This was a great opportunity to get in some of the light front squats that I had missed earlier in the week, and start warming up for the clean and jerks that I had missed, the kind of the medium to heavy clean and jerks earlier in the week. I got the technique work in, but hadn't gotten the kind of meat and potatoes work in. So it was a kind of great way to mix those together today to get some of the front squat work and the clean and jerk in. And it went really well. I only worked up to about 85% today. And the goal right now with these is to find something that feels like I'm just starting to get into the heavy work, but technique feels really well in control, and durability on the body feels good. I don't feel like I'm getting anything beat up, and I'm not adding any sort of unwanted fatigue. I'm just trying to get the most return on investment from the stimulus to fatigue standpoint. Early on in a training block, that's super important, especially right now where my focus is actually going to be more powerlifting, training for a competition in March or the end of March for powerlifting. And weightlifting, I'm not really going to be competing in until mid to a little bit later next year. So the goal with this is to really just chip away and not let it impact my recoverability for the traditional squat, bench press, and deadlift, but it can add to that. And so that's the goal with that. So built up to 305, it moved super well, body felt really good with it. Then finished up all the rest of the accessories that you saw earlier in the list with some weighted pull-ups and some weighted dips. I replaced my dumbbell incline bench with weighted dips. They just seemed a bit more fun. They are obviously a little bit different, but they both work the chest and the triceps, and I had a little bit more fun with the dips, and I liked supersetting these today. So all in all, really good week. But to highlight some of the things that I think could be helpful for anybody is it was a 5-day training split that I moved some of the movements around, and I did it strategically in a way where they wouldn't impact each other and they wouldn't make the next workout worse. I always say, careful not to borrow from tomorrow by overdoing it today. And you saw that one of the workouts this week was literally 12 minutes, my every 90 seconds on the 90 seconds bench. And that allowed me to keep the momentum going. And I happened to have a bit more time and energy this Saturday to finish off the week and feel really strong into next week. So it doesn't always have to be perfect. The key is just being consistent, and don't focus on what you can't do, but focus on what you can do. And you're always going to keep building that momentum. So excited about going into next week and bringing you guys along for the ride.